So our program will be our schedule will be as follows. So we will start with the presentation round. So first we will introduce education technology program and then teaching Russian as a foreign language. And then after we are going to open Q&A session.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. I prepared a few slides together with Anastasia. So the name of the master's program, of our master's program, is educational technology. We also add blended because the format of this master program is, let's say, rather peculiar, even in the times of COVID-19. So the presentation, in the presentation, sorry, I have to switch to this. In the presentation, I'll be dealing basically with a few points that you can see here. What is the master is all about. I will briefly introduce the teaching staff. I will say something about why a blended master in educational technology, for whom, and then as anticipated, I will have a short, there will be a bonus track with Anastasia. So let's start with the first question. What is it? If we break it down, we have all these keywords. So this master program is blended, mostly online, and we will see what this means. It's 1 year. More specifically, it's a 10-month master program. So it's a little bit shorter than 1 year. It's international. Otherwise, you would have not been here. And it's in educational technology. So let's see one by one what all this means. 1 year blended master program. Until 2020, this was actually the so-called master plan. So it's blended or mostly online, because in this master, at the beginning of the academic year, usually in the second half of August, we ask the students to come to Tartu for an intense period of study lasting 2 weeks, after which the first semester starts with most of the online courses. The first semester starts in September and then it ends end of January, beginning of February. Then there is a second semester when usually the students focus on the thesis. And then in June, after 10 months, more or less, we have the defense and the graduation in Tartu. Last year, meaning in August 2020, because of the pandemic, we were not be able to do this. We didn't have this August session, 2 weeks in Tartu, which was actually replaced by, let's say, an online version, which actually started 10 days before. So it started, to be precise, on the 7th of August. Of course, the nature of the online August session was different from what we used to do, but it was still a way to give the students what we promised. Maybe there will be questions about this, so I'm not going to dwell on this topic. But at the moment, we don't know if we will repeat the same experiment this year. In other words, if we will not ask the students to come to Tartu for 2 weeks, but we will have a sort of online replacement, or if we will be actually able to run the August session. Interestingly enough, since Anastasia is a student from this year, she might actually briefly tell you about what it means to have a fully online master program. But still on paper, our master program is blended because of these 2 weeks in August. Very briefly about the tools that we will use during the master program, since it's partly online and it's also about educational technology. Probably I should say something about this. We've been using Zoom basically since the inception of this master program back in 2017, and we will continue using it. Then when it comes to the learning management system, the sort of digital hub, in this case, we have been using both Moodle and Microsoft Teams. The university provides both Moodle and Microsoft Teams. In spite of the fact that students usually prefer, and I certainly agree with that, to have only one place, some of the activities are on Microsoft Teams. The reason is first of all, because we would like the students to try out different platforms as students. And the other reason is that both have limitations, and this is the reason why this year we started using Microsoft Teams for specific functions, especially for handling the whole master program. So usually courses are on Moodle, but the group that will manage the whole EdTech community will be is, and probably will be in on Microsoft Teams. Then, when it comes to the content, the courses, and the curriculum, as I said, this is a one-year master program, 10-month master program. We award overall 60 European credit points. There is a curriculum that is composed of mandatory courses and elective courses. You see here, very briefly, I mean, this is just for you to have an idea of the courses that we are offering. Usually what students have told us is that this master program tends to be focusing more on the pedagogy of educational technology rather than technology itself. So if you can see here, for example, we have some courses that are specifically focusing on technology use, for example, technology use in education. We also have educational data mining and digital literacy. In other cases, the courses are more pedagogical in nature. So you see introduction to the new learning paradigm, collaborative learning, psychology of learning, problem solving, that we also have self-regulation. These are basically coming from learning theories. I mean, these are all courses about learning theories. The reason is that educational technology is a kind of unicorn, meaning that it's a combination of two very different endowments, let's put it this way: education, which is of course human and social centered, and technology. We believe that technology is actually used. We're using, or we're working with technology, and therefore it's not that being prolific in using technology automatically translates into being a good teacher or being or a good educator. So that's why our focus tends to be more on the pedagogical side. But of course, as I said, there will be courses in which technology use will be addressed. And here again, if there are the questions about the courses, please let me know. Then the Tartu EdTech teaching staff members. Now let me talk about a little bit of the people that you will meet. First of all, this master is characterized by a teaching staff member, a teaching staff that is, I would say, highly international. I put the flags there so that you can see where we come from. Some of us are Estonian, some of us are not. And in any case, we have experience in dealing with an international community, although I must say that it's not always easy to handle such community. So these are the people that you will meet. You also see that more or less we cover, let's say, 3 decades, more or less. So some of us are in their late 30s, other in their late 50s. But anyway, I feel that the teaching staff member is relatively younger. We are flexible and we have international experience. Now, it's moving on. Why a blended master in educational technology? Well, there are many reasons why we decided back in, I think it was 2015 when we started thinking about this master. Interestingly enough, we started before COVID-19, before this remote teaching became almost the norm. Maybe not everywhere, but around the globe, virtually all university lecture have had this experience of teaching online. But in our case, the decision to have a blended master program or mostly online master program was due to a specific reason, which can be summarized in this way. We wanted to create what we may call a convivial space, which basically means this. We wanted to bring together people interested in working with educational technologies, trying to overcome the geographical barriers. So at the moment, we are all scattered all around the globe, I guess. We're coming from different places. And this is a big challenge, but also a big adventure, a big journey, because bringing people together means that we can create something together, we can build synergies. And if we can do that in spite of geographical barriers and in spite of the fact that educational technology is an interdisciplinary venture, then I think that we are dealing with something that can be not just innovative, but also positive and constructive. So to cut a long story short, the fact that we basically don't have geographical barriers because of the format of the master program allows us to know about different cultures, different ways in which education systems are actually implemented, designed and implemented. And we are also exposed to a variety of experiences, which after 4 years, I can tell you that it's highly enriching, in spite of being challenging from time to time. For whom I said that we would like to bring together people interested in educational technology. I also said that educational technology is an interdisciplinary venture. And these are basically what you see on the slide, all the people that we have had so far. So we had most of our students are either teachers, educators, or lecturers. So people working in the public sector. But we also had school directors, educational technologists, which in Estonia means a person that is usually working trying to bridge the gap between IT or the IT specialist in the school and teachers. We also had entrepreneurs, people working at the human resources department in private companies. And we also had at least one parent. I mean, we had many parents, but we actually had a student who joined the master program because she was homeschooling her daughter. And that was the main motivation for her to join this master program. And eventually she actually wrote her dissertation on this, on the experience of homeschooling her daughter. By the way, well before COVID-19. Then, these are actually the pictures of the two groups. So we started, as I said, in 2017. Since then, we grew. We went from 10 students during the first year to 19 this year. So we nearly doubled. The geographical, I was talking about geographical barriers. These are basically the countries that we have covered so far. Basically, we had almost all continents represented. We're still waiting somebody from Southern America. We had people from Mexico and from Jamaica, but we still want to put the flag on Southern America. But we had people from Africa, Oceania, Asia, Europe, of course, India, Middle East, and so on and so forth. So we have covered many countries, and as I said, almost all the continents. And then the bonus track, and this is the very last slide from me before handing over to Anastasia. We created, and this is something very recent, what we call the Tartu EdTech community, which is basically a community comprising people, both teaching staff members, as well as former and current students. We have both a website, tartuedtech.org, and a Facebook group, which I think that it's a private group with 49 members. The idea is essentially to have a place where, no matter whether we have finished studying educational technology or not, people can still keep in contact, get in touch, to essentially carry on or collaborate on different projects that are not necessarily related to the master's program. So in this regard, we really see the master program more like a door to something that the community hopefully can receive and then help to develop even further. So now I will stop sharing my screen. I will stop sharing my screen, and I think that Anastasia can continue.
Okay, thank you. So, can you see?
Yep.
Wonderful. So here is our team that includes basically everybody: teachers, entrepreneurs, practitioners, scholars, and we all together working on many different projects. Currently, there are like 2 of them in hand, which we are looking for solutions for the low technology and internet infrastructure places. We started with one place in particular, which is now growing to a much bigger area. And we also would like to bridge the gap between teachers, entrepreneurs, and academia. And that's why we are started the EdTech testbed, which is meant for teachers to try out the tools and to have a say on the educational tools that are being presented to us. So we are now working in partnership with EdTech Estonia and N8 to make it possible. So main point is that it doesn't stop with the masters. Right now we have 3 generations of graduated students and the current students who are actively participating in that. And our pain was that when we graduate, what are we going to do? Is there any sort of like keeping in touch? Do we have any platform for that? So we did not, and that's why we created one. Now we are happy to invite all of you to join this adventure and to embark on our projects. You can use them as your master thesis, as internship, or just to solve your own needs and your own problems that you have in your locality. You can ask for people, like you can ask people for help with that, and we'll do what we can. So
yeah,
that would be it. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Anastasia. And of course, we will be talking about this, especially for those of you that will decide to join us for the master program.